the day off yesterday, obviously, it's rare that I go 2 days in a week without posting at least one video. Took off Monday for the 4th of July, didn't post anything yesterday. Honestly, I just felt like I needed a break, but also there's just no news right now. The news is just slow. That's typical for this time of year. With the holiday falling on a Monday, a lot of people took off the entire week last week. We're in that kind of a lull period right now for news, but I expect things will pick up as we get deeper into July. Members of Woke United Methodist, they have been strangely silent lately. I don't know if it's because they're all attending the Butt Bongo Festival or it's because they know things are so bad right now throughout the country, they can't defend it. I'm sure most of you guys have noticed gas prices. Gas prices are on the decline, and it's strange how that happens. I would imagine by the time we get to October, right before the midterm elections, gas will be under $3 a gallon again. We're going to return to our normal routine, our normal schedule this week on the channel. Before we get into the most recent ratings and attendance figures for Major League Baseball, I want to take 1 second to shout out my girlfriend's dad, Jimmy. Today's his birthday, turns the big 6-0. Her parents were absolutely great welcoming me into their family. Jimmy's a great man, reminds me a lot of my own father. Like the rest of us, he doesn't associate himself with members of Woke United Methodist, which is always a plus. So I just want to take a brief second to tell Jimmy happy birthday. I hope you have 60 more of them. Okay, Major League Baseball. You know, yesterday afternoon when I was compiling my research for this video, I came across an article that reminded me of what the NBA was doing 2 years ago when they were setting record low ratings in the playoffs. Vince McMahon and the WWE, they are notorious for doing the same thing. Hell, the WNBA, they are experts at this, but that's a story for another day. We're going to get into the WNBA later this week and their ratings for All-Star Weekend. But when ratings are shit, when more people are attending story time with Shaggy Draggy than going to Major League Baseball games, they look for something positive to present to us to make things seem better than they actually are. I remember when LeBron James was drawing 6-7 million for the NBA Finals in 2020. All the mainstream media wanted to talk about was the NBA streaming numbers. 20 million people on TikTok watched a 30-second highlight of Game 3. The NBA is the most popular league on Twitter. Millions of lonely virgins grabbed their hand lotion as they watched a sweaty LeBron James box out Jimmy Butler. Ooh, back that ass up, LeBron. Get that ball. The media was doing everything in their power to convince you that the NBA was okay. They're doing the same thing right now with Major League Baseball. Now, the NFL, they are never given this luxury. The shitfucks in the mainstream media, they cannot stand the NFL. Doesn't matter what the league does. They taste the rainbow. They promote the gay. They have made thousands upon thousands of black men millionaires. Yet the media still portrays the NFL as a racist league, run by plantation owners profiting off the labor of slaves. I'm doing my research yesterday for baseball ratings. First article that comes up. MLB.TV sets viewership record for first 40 days of the regular season. Really? Really? My first thought was, who fucking cares about MLB.TV? Are ratings on linear television so bad that we're going to pull streaming numbers from MLB.TV to pretend everything is sunshine rays and gays in Major League Baseball? Is that what we're going to do? 2.8 billion minutes were streamed on MLB.TV the first 40 days of the regular season. That's the most the service has seen since it started back in 2002, which is great. I guess that's great. But here's the thing. That number is naturally going to be higher because more people have access to streaming. The bulk of the revenue for Major League Baseball doesn't come from streaming minutes on MLB.TV. The bulk of the revenue comes from television ratings and attendance. Right now, both are absolute shit. Ratings and attendance for Major League Baseball, they have been on the decline for over a decade. If I remember correctly, attendance in baseball has dropped between 2 and 5% every year since 2008. Now, what does declining attendance signal? What does that tell you? It tells you you have a dwindling hardcore fan base. Most people who spend their time and money attending live sporting events, they consider themselves to be diehard fans. Now, sure, You have some that go once, maybe twice, for the experience, but most casual fans or people who don't care about sports, they're not going to spend their time or their money attending live games. Historically, the NHL struggles to draw ratings on television, but they have a committed fan base. Last season, 8 NHL teams sold out every home game. Half the league, over 91% capacity. The NHL draft the other night on ESPN, they drew 457,000 viewers. Now, that's not a great number, but it was the highest they'd seen since 2009. The NHL's growing right now. They're heading in the right direction. Now let's contrast the growth of the NHL with what's going on right now in Major League Baseball. We are halfway through the season. 21 of 30 teams are down in attendance when compared to 2019. Some are down significantly. Cubs down 6,000 a game. Yankees, Red Sox, 4,000. The pathetic A's. Who the hell knows what's going on right now in Oakland? But the A's, they are down 12,000 a game. Now, even with the pathetic attendance in Oakland, they are still outdrawing the WNBA. Dodgers, down. Cardinals, down. There's a strong possibility that half the league, half the teams in baseball won't draw 2 million people this season. When you look at the ratings, the outlook for Major League Baseball gets even worse. The first couple months of the season, if ratings for Major League Baseball are low, there's always the same excuse. We're facing fierce competition, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, College World Series, the WNBA. Your league should be popular enough to hold its own against competition. But that's always the excuse used. Our boring game can't compete with the excitement of the College World Series. By the time we get to mid-June heading into July, there is literally nothing competing with Major League Baseball. The vast majority of TV shows, they're on hiatus, summer break, NBA, done. NFL doesn't start ramping up until August for the preseason. Those 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks from mid-June through July, Major League Baseball runs unopposed. What excuse are we going to hear now for these absolutely shit ratings? Regional coverage on Fox 2 weeks ago drew 1.9 million, down 500,000 viewers from last year. Last weekend, both Fox and ESPN aired Cardinals-Phillies, 2 legacy teams, 2 teams in the playoff hunt. Once again, Fox broadcast down 200,000 from last year, down 500,000 compared to 2019. They only drew 1.8 million viewers. The ESPN broadcast was down 200,000 from last year, drawing just 1.2 million. They were almost beaten by grown men shoving wieners in their face. Yeah. The hot dog eating contest, which aired tape delayed on Monday, damn near outdrew Major League Baseball. When you look at the ratings on TBS and FS1, it gets even worse. One game drew decent numbers. Padres, Dodgers on FS1, just over 400,000. Rays, Red Sox on TBS, 267,000. Royals, Rangers on FS1, 275,000. Astros, Mets on TBS, 226,000. They have been struggling to draw on TBS all season. I went back and pulled some random ratings from July 2019. They were routinely drawing 600,000 or so on FS1, 400,000 on MLB Network, 400,000 on TBS. Where did all those people go? In the span of 3 years, how did you manage to turn away 300,000 viewers? A lot of people like to blame pace of play as one of the reasons that baseball's struggling. The games are too long. 3 hours is too long to watch sports. Never hear that complaint in the NFL. NBA games, they run 2.5, sometimes 3 hours. Never hear complaints about basketball games running too long. Baseball has always been slow. That's always been the case. The reason people are complaining about pace of play now is because the game has become boring. That's only part of the problem, just part of the problem. The real problem in baseball, they don't know how to market this league. The vast majority of Major League Baseball fans are white and conservative. They have the oldest fan base in sports. Now, how do you think 60-year-old George feels when Tim Anderson is whining about mythical racism? How do you think 50-year-old Ronald, who served in the Gulf War, how do you think he feels when Gabe Kapler refuses to come out for the national anthem? How do you think 35-year-old Steve feels when he takes his 7-year-old son to his first Major League Baseball game and the kid's exposed to a fucking drag show? The truth is, Major League Baseball turned their back on its core audience. It's one thing for LeBron James to complain about mythical racism in the NBA. Sure. He turned off a lot of white fans, but the NBA, they have a large black audience to fall back on. Most black people ain't watching Major League Baseball. They spent the entire month of June marketing the league to the alpha bettors. What a great fucking strategy. Let's market our league to less than 7% of the population. Then sit back and wonder why people aren't watching us on television and why people aren't coming to games. Why the fuck would I pay hundreds of dollars to attend a baseball game so I could watch a drag show I could see for $5 at the local gay bar? For over 10 years, and especially under the tutelage of Rob Manfred, the worst commissioner in sports, but for over 10 years, Major League Baseball has failed to market their players. Who is the biggest star in baseball? Who is the mainstream crossover star? Who is the Derek Jeter, the Alex Rodriguez? Who is it? Can anyone name one fucking player on the Dodgers, Yankees, or Red Sox? Just one. This is by far the worst promoted league in sports. Baseball doesn't have an identity. The NBA's a fucking dump, but at least they have an identity. They picked a strategy and they stuck with it. We're going to be the league for lovers of butt bongo. That's fine. That's the route you want to take. Go for it. I mean, it's not working, but at least the WNBA is consistent with their marketing strategy. What is the identity of Major League Baseball? What is their marketing strategy? Who are they promoting their brand to? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Besides getting rid of Rob Manfred, which would be step one, I don't know the solution to Major League Baseball's problems. Do you? You tell me. You give me the solution to the problems in Major League Baseball. If this league has an identity, I'm all ears. Tell me what it is. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.